Oh, yeah, is it Thursday already? The Mandalorian and Grogu movie just got some insane announcements from Sigourney Weaver herself and Jermey Allen White, who is going to be confirmed to be playing Rotta the Hutt, aka Stinky the Hutt. And if that's not enough, Star Wars Eclipse, the game that's been silent for the last half a decade, just got an update. One of the coolest Star Wars trailers to ever drop and then never get another thing about it, just got a big old update. So without further ado, let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Thursday afternoon? We got some wild news to talk about. I didn't think we'd be sitting here in October of 2025 talking about Star Wars Eclipse, but here we are. Here we are. Star Wars Eclipse gets a big old update today for the first time in over 4 years, and The Mandalorian and Grogu. So we are about, hang on, math. Here we go. November, October, nope, that's not how months work. November, December, January, February, March, April, May. 7? That sounds wrong. Are we only 7 months away from the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Or is my math not mathing? Either way, we are getting very, very close to this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I can almost taste it. And now we are getting some information about specific characters. Sigourney Weaver and who she's playing. We got a character name, and it's confirmed that Jermey Allen White is the voice of Rotta the Hutt. So we got to talk about that. We have an interview with Jermey, and we got an interview with Sigourney. So we're talking Mandalorian and Grogu today. We've talked about Ahsoka Season 2 for the last, 2 weeks because it's been insane. The announcements we got last weekend from Rosario and Bryce Dallas Howard, and that it wrapped filming last week with the crazy image of them making the silhouette of the Mortis gods. It's been wild. For Star Wars news, this has been like an unprecedented amount of news. Unprecedented. It's crazy. But let's first start the live stream the only way we know how, by saying hi to everybody in the chat. Shall we? Star Wars Insight, what is up? Starship 66 in the house. Kit Fisto, how we doing? That guy B, what is up? Holly, how we doing? Jack Robbins in the house. Mr. Slash X, what is up? Dustin Kennedy, how we doing? Mando United in the house. Jason, what is up? Tafari Tano in the building. Fearless, what is up? Brandon Baker, how we doing? The Max Rebo Experience, of course, the greatest blue band, or blue man band. Ian, how we doing? Darth Plagueis lives in the house. Trent, what is up? All right, if I missed you, PJ, how we doing? Ken Kenobi, what's up? All right, if I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little,
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Hang on. I just saw that Star Wars just posted something. Hang on. Hang on, chat. Is this breaking news or is this just something random? Star Wars themselves just posted. Oh. Ooh, interesting. I did not think we'd be talking about Cal Kestis today, and yet here we are. Star Wars themselves just posted this. Rise, Jedi Knight Cal Kestis and BD1, Star Wars Fallen Order concept art. You got the Zepho Temple, it looks like here. Some Zepho reaching for the light. Looks like they got Medusa turned to stone. This is a little bit of a tease. On a random Thursday in October, just a concept art of Cal Kestis? Don't do that to me. Don't give me hope. Okay. All right. Well, I did not intend for that to happen. We're still talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about it later. But that's kind of cool. Okay. But the Mandalorian and Grogu, let's start there, shall we? So finally, after months and months of speculation, leaks, rumors, now all this stuff has been confirmed to an extent. Some leaks have been confirmed, others kind of proven wrong in a way. Stinky the Hutt is, of course, in the movie. We see him in the trailer, but it's confirmed that that is Rotta the Hutt. And Sigourney Weaver's character might be. We're only a couple minutes into the live stream, but I'm going to say it anyway. Might be dying in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So let's start first. Let's start with the Hutt, shall we? Stinky the Hutt hasn't been seen since 2008 in the Clone Wars movie. Actually, is he seen at any other point in the Clone Wars? Does Stinky have any other appearances except for the Clone Wars movie? Somebody help me out in the chat. I don't think so, but he might. Maybe. Possibly. He doesn't? Okay. So his only appearance is in the Mandalorian, in Clone Wars movie. Yes? Okay, just the movie. Perfect. So we haven't seen him in 17 years. And now his return, his triumphant return, is with Star Wars' return to the big screen in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And last when we saw this character, he looked like a little baby. He looked like this. This like tiny little baby. Here, I'll pull it up. Stinky the Hutt. He looked like this. Whoops. Nope, not what I wanted to do. Not what I wanted to do. Okay. No. Oh my God. I just pressed the same button twice. He looked like this. Nice little baby, you know, like cute, kind of cute, not really cute at all, but kind of cute, you know, like just whatever. And now he looks like this. Oh, wrong button, sorry. He looks like this. A gladiator. You can see his muscles and he's ripped out of his mind and he's, you know, doing his thing. He does not look like the baby that we once remembered. So, now we have some confirmation that this is, in fact, Rotta the Hutt, a.k.a. Stinky the Hutt, and the infamous Jermey Allen White will be voicing the character. We even have an interview where Jeremy is talking about this. So let's take a look. The Cal Kestis thing really threw me off here. Can I go back to my other thing? Yes, we can. Perfect. All right. So this was on Good Morning America, and it's about 1 minute long, and we're going to watch this. Jermey Allen White. Now, he's in promotion for his new Bruce Springsteen movie. He's doing a Bruce Springsteen movie on the album Nebraska, if any of you guys are Springsteen fans. But he gives us a lot of confirmation here about his character and joining Star Wars. He even brings up Pedro Pascal. So take a look at this.
Oh, what was it like to find out that you'd become a part of the
Rotta.
Star Wars universe?
Oh, hang on.
Your voice, the son of Jabba the Hutt. Oh, what was it like to find out that you'd become a part of the
Rotta.
Star Wars universe?
So first things first, that's confirmation right there. Even Jeremy going Rotta, which I like a lot. You know, that's nice.
It was exciting. You know, it's funny. I met Jon Favreau, who directed the film and the series, you know, prior. And I've been such a huge fan of John's for a very long time, and so we started talking about movies, and I was asking him about Swingers, and he said, you know, would you like to come in and maybe talk to me about doing just a voiceover deal for Star Wars? I said, I love Star Wars. I'd be so happy to. And I came in, and then I discovered, kind of in the moment almost, the weight of the kind of character I was voicing. But it's been a fun process. I came in to do the voice. They hadn't filmed the movie yet. Then they made the movie. I came and did more. I'll probably have to do a little bit more. I spoke to Pedro the other day, and I think he was doing some more work in the booth and seeing some more of the film. And I'm very excited. I'm very excited to take my kids to see that one. You know?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really fun.
So we'll watch it again. But one of the biggest things he brings up is how much he's in the booth. He recorded a lot before they even filmed the movie. He came back, and while they were filming the movie, even recorded more. And he anticipates going back into the booth to record even more. To me, that sounds like Rotta the Hutt is going to have a huge role in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, confirming the leaks that Rotta will be this big part of the story. Now, that might be bad news for many of us, because the leaks that we heard all those years ago, and actually let me get to the super chat because it mentions it. Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $10 holla. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, so this is really all about Stinky and Embo. Also, Yoda was blue. We'll get to the Yoda thing. We'll get to that. Is this really all about Stinky and Embo? So if you've been living under a rock for the last 6 months, then you don't know that the leaks for The Mandalorian and Grogu's plot are that this is all going to be about Embo, the bounty hunter from the Clone Wars animated series, and him capturing Rotta the Hutt and Din Djarin and Grogu on a mission for the New Republic to have to go save Stinky from the hands of Embo. Nowhere in those leaks is there mention of the remnant of the Empire, of Grand Admiral Thrawn, of any bigger plot that's been developed for the last 6 years on Disney+. So to me, that sounds stupid, but a lot of it has been confirmed true today. This interview with Jermey confirms that Rotta is going to play a huge role in this movie. So are these leaks true? Are we really just getting a movie about Embo as the villain? Taking all the setup from the last 6 years of the Shadow Council, of Moff Gideon, of the return of Grand Admiral Thrawn as the heir to the Empire. Are we just taking that incredible setup for 6 years and throwing it out the window? I still don't think so. Now, obviously, still no mention of Embo. If he's going to be in the movie, I'm sure it'll be a big surprise. But I still don't think, even with the confirmation that Jermey Allen White is playing Rotta the Hutt and that Rotta is going to be playing a pretty damn big role in this movie, I still don't think that's the whole story being told here. If we rewatch the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer that we have, it's filled with stormtroopers, filled with AT walkers, and all this remnant of the Empire stuff. So clearly those leaks are wrong in some way. Maybe Rotta is still involved. Maybe he gets captured by the Empire for some reason. Or maybe not. But either way, they're missing something. It's not just going to be a story about Embo and Stinky the Hutt. There's no way. However, Rotta is going to play a big old role. So let me put up a poll in the chat here first things first. Let's put up a poll. If you haven't smashed a freaking like on the stream, get on it. Okay. Let's do this. Do you think Thrawn will be in The Mandalorian and Grogu? I can't type right now. Mandalorian. Oh my God. There we go. And Grogu. Yes or no? Is this all just going to be about Stinky the Hutt? Really? Is it going to be a retelling of the Clone Wars 2008 movie? Because if you cast your mind back, that's the exact same plot. Count Dooku steals Stinky, or kidnaps Stinky, and the whole plot of the movie is for Ahsoka and Anakin and Obi-Wan to get Stinky back for Jabba. That's it. So are we just rehashing the Clone Wars movie? I don't think so. I mean, I think we've gone way past that. We are in a way better spot now. Last stream, we watched the Shadow Council meeting. That was from The Mandalorian Season 3. That was from the latest installment of Din and Grogu. Clearly, that's going to play a big old role in the upcoming movie. But what do we think? What do we think? Holy crap, what the hell? Okay. I'm one for getting called a shill all day long. That doesn't affect me, but that's crazy. That's insane. Okay. Good thing I have the filter on for the chat. Oh, you guys couldn't even see that. Or could you? I don't know. That's crazy. All right. Yeah, no, I don't care about being called a shill, but if you guys saw that, I hope you didn't, but that was horrible. So we're moving on. All right, where were we? Rotta the Hutt and Grand Admiral Thrawn. Do you guys think that Thrawn will actually be in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Johnny Cohen is the Imperial Remnant leader, not Thrawn. I don't think he's the leader of the entire remnant of the Empire, but he's definitely one of the so-called, I guess, warlords. He's one of the Shadow Council members, but he's not really the leader of the Shadow Council. So I think he'll be the warlord that we're dealing with in the early parts of this movie. But like we talked about in the last stream, let me bring up who I'm talking about here. Johnny. This guy from The Mandalorian Season 3 is confirmed to be in The Mandalorian and Grogu. This handsome fella right here. So this is probably the member of the Shadow Council that we're going to be dealing with the most. Yeah. And in that Shadow Council meeting, he's doing these hit-and-run operations that are beginning to be too noticeable for the New Republic. So maybe he's the one who captures Stinky, maybe hires Embo to do so, and that kickstarts our catalyst for the plot of this movie. Now, that does still stay in line and confirms that the leaks are true, that Embo is capturing Rotta the Hutt, but it purposefully ignores the fact that this character is in there, that the remnant of the Empire is behind all of it, and that there's a big old scheme happening behind the scenes that Din Djarin and Grogu are missing out on. They don't know about the Shadow Council. They think that they defeated Moff Gideon in Season 3, and that was it. Cue the Ewoks. Start the fireworks. We did it. Nope. Moff Gideon is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the strength of the remnant of the Empire. And with Grand Admiral Thrawn coming back, it's going to be a lot worse. So this is just the beginning. What I think's going on here, what I think these leaks, although they may be true, are leading to is Din Djarin and Grogu finding this guy and finding out that there is a bigger operation going on with the remnant of the Empire. And very similarly to Ahsoka Season 1, like when Hera goes to the New Republic and says that Grand Admiral Thrawn is on his way back, they're all like, nah. You know, no thanks, we're good. Thrawn? Nah. And that's probably something similar that's going to happen in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Din Djarin's going to come back to the New Republic with the idea of, okay, there's something way bigger happening here. I just fought like 4 AT walkers on the side of a cliff, and I went toe-to-toe with this guy, and he hired Embo to hunt down Rotta the Hutt. There's clearly something bigger going on here. There's a big blue meanie out on Dothamir with Night Sisters. There's something big going on here. And the New Republic will look at him and go, nah. He's a stupid bounty hunter. He's just Din Djarin. We don't even know this guy. He's got a baby with him. How can we trust this guy? He's got a green baby with him. And that's how I think this movie's going to go. Very similar to Ahsoka Season 1, where the New Republic doesn't listen. And as the great Huge Wang once said, they never listen. So that's what I'm getting from this. What the heck is going on today? I don't even... All right. Okay. I don't even see him in the chat, though, because the filter took him out. Hang on. I'm sadly going to have to turn off the chat bot today. That's annoying. That's so weird. Okay, sorry, chat, but you're not going to be able to see your names on the screen anymore. Okay, moving on. Never mind. So, again, I think this is going to be a very similar story to Ahsoka Season 1. This is frustrating. I apologize, chat. This is not the way I thought this would go today. Hard to stay focused. All right. let's regroup and here, hit this.
This is where the fun begins.
Okay, so where was I? Fearless, you're not seeing it because it's getting filtered out just from the sort of filter that I have on the chat. Like if you say a swear word or you say something like really bad, it gets filtered anyway. So yeah, you guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. Don't worry. How about a hand for our moderators? Thank you. Okay. All right. Where were we? So Ahsoka Season 1 is going to have a very similar plot, or The Mandalorian and Grogu is going to have a very similar plot to Ahsoka Season 1. And I think that Din Djarin's going to find out what's happening. He's going to figure it out. It's going to be like Detective Din Djarin. He's going to figure out what's going on with the remnant of the Empire, that there's a way bigger conspiracy going on, that Grand Admiral Thrawn might even be in charge of it. He might not figure that out. He might not figure that piece out. But he's going to figure out that there's a way bigger thing going on here. He has the most experience. The New Republic has, like, they got nothing. They haven't fought this remnant of the Empire, really, but Din has. He went toe-to-toe with Moff Gideon 3 straight seasons. He's got the experience. So even though he thinks Moff Gideon is dead, because he probably is, tell me in the chat if you think Moff Gideon's still alive. I know there's some of you people that are, yeah. But he's dead, and Din Djarin's going to realize that there's a much bigger conspiracy going on here with the remnant of the Empire. And the New Republic hasn't seen any of that. Din Djarin has first-hand experience with this remnant of the Empire and how big of a threat they actually are, and the New Republic won't believe him. And this is all going to lead to, eventually, the downfall of the New Republic, the rise of the First Order in Snoke, but the in-between piece of that, in between Snoke's rise and Palpatine's fall in Return of the Jedi, it's Grand Admiral Thrawn. And that's the story we're about to kickstart into. With Ahsoka Season 1, Season 2, Mandalorian and Grogu, all of that. And hopefully a trilogy about it. But it's going to set up time and time again how stupid and blind the New Republic is to the obvious facts that are happening in the Outer Rim and Unknown Regions. The fact that the Empire is not gone. And they're just going to be too dumb to see it. So when we talk about Grand Admiral Thrawn and the heir to the Empire, it's not going to be the New Republic that's trying to take him down. It's going to be the people that actually listen to Din Djarin, that actually believe Harrison Dula, the Ghost Crew, Cobb Vanth, Boba Fett, the Vespa Gang, the Mandalorians, Bo-Katan, Sabine hopefully comes back. Ahsoka's probably not coming back. But those people are going to be the ones who take down Grand Admiral Thrawn. They are not going to be able to stop Snoke in the First Order, but they will be able to stop Grand Admiral Thrawn. Yeah. Are we blind? Deploy the garrison. Exactly. Krennic. Exactly. So, going back to Stinky the Hutt specifically, tell me in the chat, do you think that Stinky is going to be a big role in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, or do you think he'll just be maybe the catalyst at the beginning, like he's kind of got this small little role? Let's rewatch that interview, because watch it again and listen to how many times he talks about recording in the booth. Not only confirming the character existence, but how many times he goes into the booth, and he even talks to Pedro Pascal.
Your voice, the son of Jabba the Hutt. Oh, what was it like to find out that you'd become a part of the
Rotta.
Star Wars universe?
It was exciting. You know, it's funny. I met Jon Favreau, who directed the film and the series, prior. And I've been such a huge fan of Jon's for a very long time, and so we started talking about movies, and I was asking him about swingers, and he said, would you like to come in and maybe talk to me about doing just a voiceover deal for Star Wars? I said, I love Star Wars. I'd be so happy to. And I came in, and then I discovered, kind of in the moment almost, the weight of the kind of character I was voicing. But it's been a fun process.
That's pretty interesting. So he's a Star Wars fan, but as many Star Wars normie fans wouldn't even know who Stinky the Hutt is, he probably didn't know who that character was anyway. And he talks about how important, how much weight is behind this character. Meaning, in this movie, this character is going to have a big old role, and even his backstory and how much power he holds is going to be very, very important. All we have so far from the trailer is just him flexing on us. We just have him in a gladiator ring, flexing on all of us like he's badass, whatever. We don't really know what his position of power is. His dad is dead, Jabba, and he doesn't take over Jabba's role because that's Boba Fett now. So what is Stinky doing? We know that the twin Hutts from the Book of Boba Fett will be in this movie. They're on the poster for the movie. So the Hutts clearly have a big role in this film. And as Jeremy mentions here, Rotta's weight in this movie, how important he is to the film, is clear in just the script.
Process. I came in to do the voice. They hadn't filmed the movie yet. Then they made the movie. I came and did more. I'll probably have to do a little bit more. I spoke.
So he did the voice before the movie, which, I mean, that checks out. Then when they're filming the movie, stuff changes. Lines change. They're rewriting the script left and right. So he comes in again while they're filming the movie. And he's even saying he's going to have to go in and do it again. It makes me think he's got a big old role. Like a big one. Not like he'll be in the whole movie. Him and Din Djarin will be like sidekicks together and they'll be like this buddy cop movie. No. No. But he will have a lot bigger role than I ever once thought he would. I'm talking not just the beginning of the movie, not just a gladiator Hutt scene where he's just flexing on us. No, it'll be a big old role. Yeah. Continuing.
To Pedro the other day, and I think he was doing some more work in the booth and seeing some more of the film, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited to take my kids to see that one. You know?
As we all are. So there you have it. Stinky the Hutt confirmed by Jermey Allen White himself. And he's been in the booth 2 times, and he's going to be in the 3rd time. You got to assume that this is a big old role. But Stinky's been in the gym, LOL. True. He could be like the grand champion gladiator who now runs the fights himself. Looks like Din and Grogu are fighting. We're fighting. We're at a fight for Rotta, was a part of the fight, but just running the fights? Well, when he's flexing on him, you got to assume that he's won a fight. We see Din fighting somebody that's not Rotta in the gladiator ring. So I do think he's probably running it, but he's also probably fighting in it. Yeah. I got a feeling we're going to get a lot of good memes out of this movie. What Star Wars movie hasn't gotten a lot of good memes? Let's be honest. Yeah. Maybe Stinky works for one of the Shadow Council members. I mean, maybe. They are working a lot with the underworld, and that's where the Hutts thrive. I don't know. I don't know. By the way, 55% of you say yes, you do think Thrawn will be in this movie. 45 say no. If I think Thrawn being in the film would only be like at the very end or in a post-credit scene to set him up for Ahsoka Season 2. I think this film's real purpose is to get Din and Grogu to realize what's happening. The Mandalorian Season 3 teased that with the Shadow Council meeting, with Moff Gideon and all that stuff, but Din doesn't see any of that. Din Djarin is out of the loop. He's not in on those conversations. So now, as fans, we know something he doesn't know. I know something you don't know. And then in the movie, he's going to figure it out himself with these Shadow Council members and go to the New Republic and be like, hey, I know something you don't know. And they won't believe him. Yeah, I think Thrawn will be in a post-credit scene. Exactly. That's where he'd be. Thrawn will hire Embo. Well, now we got to start speculating. What would be the purpose for the remnant of the Empire to even need Stinky the Hutt? Why would they hire Embo to go kidnap a Hutt? What's the purpose there? I actually kind of have an answer to this. I kind of got an answer to that, my own question here. But tell me in the chat, what do you think? What do we think? This is actually not the last time we're going to be pulling up this map, but I got to pull up the galaxy map. So take a look at this. This is the Star Wars galaxy map. On the top here, right where I'm circling, is Dothamir, where Thrawn is. And if we move all the way over here, this red area called Hutt space is where the Hutts control over. To control Hutt space hyperlanes. Exactly. That's where I was going here. I think one of these planets in here, something in here. I haven't really looked. I'm looking right now. I don't know which planet it would be. Not quite sure. But one of these planets, something about these hyperspace lanes, Thrawn needs it. He needs the Hutts. The remnant of the Empire is weak. It's a remnant. That's it. There's a handful of stormtroopers remaining. So for Thrawn to have the funds, for Thrawn to have an army, for Thrawn to have anything, he's going to need all the help he can get. So very similar to how George Lucas's sequel trilogy was going to go with Darth Maul being the ruler of the underworld, and that's how he generates power after Palpatine dies and the Empire is gone. Maybe Thrawn sees this as an opportunity to take over the underworld, or at least get the underworld on his side instead of the New Republic. Because there's no way that the Pikes, the Hutts, even the Black Sun, the Crimson Dawn, there's no way that any of those people are on board with this New Republic. So Thrawn might see a chance where he can go sway, maybe, blackmailingly or capturing a Hutt, but he could sway the underworld leaders to be on his side in the upcoming fight. Maybe not to fight the New Republic directly, but maybe as a distraction, using the underworld crime bosses and families as a distraction to deal with the New Republic for some time. That would be pretty genius. Let's not forget, we're dealing with a mastermind here, Grand Admiral Thrawn, who's 10 steps ahead at all times. It wouldn't surprise me if he uses the underworld to distract the New Republic while he goes and funds his army, while he creates more Night Sisters, brings back to life more Night Sisters. I don't even know. Whatever he's doing with the Night Sisters, he's going to need time. He can't just create an army like that overnight. He can't create Star Destroyers and all this, and TIE Fighters and TIE Defenders. He can't do that overnight. He needs time. And he might be utilizing the underworld, the Hutts, the Pikes, etc., to do that. And again, that perfectly tells the story itself. We just learned from the book of Boba Fett that Boba is now the ruler of the underworld on Tatooine. So if all this is happening, who's going to hear about it first? Boba Fett, because he's probably going to be in on it. He just dealt with the Pikes in season 1 of Book of Boba Fett, and the Hutts for that matter, the twin Hutts that are in that season. He's dealt with those people. If he finds out that there's a big blue meanie making deals in the underworld, he's probably going to go to his good pal and connection to the New Republic, Din Djarin, to tell him about it. And yet again, the New Republic will look at them and go, nah, that's ridiculous. Thrawn back? Pfft, nah, you're crazy. Can you imagine an Ahsoka and Rotta the Hutt reunion? I can't. I'm sadly going to put a damper on that theory. As great as it would be to see those two reunite after 17, 18 years since the Clone Wars movie, Ahsoka's not going to be there, you know? Okay, let's switch gears here to Sigourney Weaver's character. So we talked about Stinky the Hutt. We'll come back to it. But let's talk about Sigourney, because this is pretty damn crazy. Not only do I think she's going to die in this movie, I know. Let it out, chat. Mike's killing off another character. I get it, but she is. Not only do I think she's going to die in this movie, but we have a confirmation on a name for the character and how big a role she's going to play in this movie. So let's take a look at this. Sigourney Weaver is talking Star Wars. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sigourney confirms she was only on set of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie for a few days.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Just a few days. Let me put up a poll actually in the chat before we even read this. Before we read this, by the way, this poll is pretty split. 58% to 42. 58% of you say yes, you do think that Grand Admiral Thrawn will be in The Mandalorian and Grogu. Interesting. Do you think Sigourney Weaver character will die in The Mandalorian and Grogu? Yes or no? Okay, and let's read this. Little details continue to trickle out about the upcoming Mandalorian and Grogu film. Josh Horowitz sat down with Sigourney Weaver at New York Comic-Con just this last weekend for an interview that spanned her entire career, because, of course, she's got a crazy one. But, of course, we did get a couple minutes of Star Wars discussion concerning her role as Colonel Bishop, an officer of the New Republic. Now, check this out in this conversation below. So, we're going to skip to this and watch this first.
On the day-to-day, or is it, like, can you
hang on.
Do?
Shoot them, but I guess it depends on how 3 does. So please go to see it 5,000 times. It is going to be a great movie. Very different in keeping with our times. It is a darker movie.
And we'll start to learn maybe a little bit more about your character's mysterious past.
Yes, yes, yes.
Something else to look forward to is, of course, you have to be part of the Star Wars universe. It's like written in the stars. It has to happen. I'm surprised it took this long. Is that just like a phone call from Jon Favreau? Like, how did that come around?
Yeah, like I got this call from Jon. I mean, I don't want to be greedy and just eat franchises like a monster. But I got a call from Jon Favreau, who I'm a great admirer of, and he, we talked, and he said, just start watching the show. And I was, of course, amazed by it and fell in love with it. And Pedro and Grogu, I mean, also, I love how the Star Wars universe it's not trying to pay off each movie with the whole backlog of movies. It's now, individual stories set in the same universe. Ours is set in the Outer Rim. So I was thrilled. I was only on the set for a few days, but I was surrounded by all kinds of different creatures. I got a drink from someone with very different kind of head than I have.
Don't talk about Pedro Pascal that way. What?
No.
So you get to work with both Pedro and Grogu. Quality time with Mandalorian and Grogu?
I'm the luckiest girl in the world.
Also lucky, I mean, to see you in that iconic costume, like the X-Wing pilot costume. Again, who would have thunk it? Amazing.
Not I, yeah. It was a whole new world, so I feel very fortunate that I got to do that. I
mean, we've touched on only a small part of your career. I mean, there's obviously all the amazing non-quote-unquote genre work, too. Well,
all right, before they continue, well, first things first, I apologize for that, chat. I don't know what the hell's going on today, but that's just annoying. Okay, so I have to turn off the chat bot all over the place. Whatever. But she talks about being on set only for a few days, which leads me to believe that her character, again, is very, very small in this movie and short-lived. They've been hyping up Sigourney Weaver's character in Star Wars since this movie was kind of announced. Like, she was one of the first cast members released and still is to this day. But her role seems to be a little bit smaller than we once thought. I think she's going to die. Now, here's why. Here's why I think her character will die and why it actually could benefit the story. It'll be good. And Here's how I imagine it happening. Din and Grogu get sent out on a mission by Sigourney's character, and they come back to Adelphi Base or wherever it is that they come back to, and it's gone. The Adelphi Base is in the Outer Rim. If Thrawn is going to make his first attack towards the New Republic, it would be at an Outer Rim base. An Outer Rim base that, by the way, doesn't really get much contact with Coruscant, doesn't get much contact with the main hub of the New Republic. So I could see her character being utilized as sort of a catalyst for Din Djarin to look more into this, to figure out what's truly going on and why the New Republic is being attacked. Now, what I think is more fascinating about her character is her backstory. The fact that she is going to be a former X-Wing pilot. And when you saw Josh, shout out to Josh Horowitz, bringing up the fact that she's wearing the X-Wing costume.
By all kinds of different creatures.
Oh, and by the way, yeah, she's around a bunch of different creatures. A lot of the Adelphi base characters that we see in season 3 are aliens anyway, so that makes sense. She's in a bar full of aliens. That tracks.
I got a drink from someone with very different kind of head than I have.
Don't talk about Pedro Pascal that way. What? So you get to work with both Pedro and Grogu. Quality time with Mandalorian and Grogu?
You know, I'm the luckiest girl in the world.
Also lucky, I mean, to see you in that iconic costume, like the X-Wing pilot costume. Again, who would have...
She's not a pilot in this movie, from what we're aware, at least. And the very little information we have about her character, we know that her backstory is as a rebel pilot. So she once wore the rebel costume, the bright orange X-Wing costume. But is she going to be wearing that in this movie? Is she going to put on the boots, put on the old come out of retirement type, once I thought I was out and they pull me back in type deal with Sigourney Weaver's character in this movie? Do we think, tell me in the chat, that she's going to suit up in an X-Wing costume in this film and help fight alongside Din Djarin? Imagine an incredible dogfight in space between, I don't know, TIE fighters or maybe some vulture droids, which we assume are in the trailer, versus X-Wings piloted by Sigourney Weaver herself, Carson Teva, and then Din Djarin and maybe even Zeb Orrelios in a Razor Crest? Maybe even the N1 Starfighter? And I still think she'll die in that fight. But that's besides the point. What do we think? If you don't know what I'm talking about here, let me pull this up. We have images of her in the X-Wing pilot costume. Sigourney Weaver in X-Wing pilot costume. That's not how you spell any of that, but it got the point. Autocorrect, what a great invention. Okay. This is the image that we have. We have a bunch of images, but this is the best one. Okay. That's Sigourney in this X-Wing pilot costume. From what we see in the trailer, she's this colonel. She's a general, I guess, a leader of the New Republic. So why would she be putting on the boots, coming out of retirement, and hopping back in an X-Wing? Because it sounds like, when we sit here and talk about this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, that it feels like we know so much about it. We don't. We don't at all. We don't know a single thing about this movie. I mean, we know a couple things, but in terms of why this could possibly happen, what the big old climax at the end of the movie is going to be, we have no idea. We haven't a clue. Yeah, these droids are going to be at Disneyland and Disney World, so that's sort of why they're in there. Yeah. But all this to say, let's talk about her name for a second. So we've been hearing contradicting reports here. One that her name is Colonel. What was it? Hang on. Colonel Bishop. Colonel Bishop. Zoom in on that a little bit more. And the other one saying, let me see if I can find it real quick, that her name is, what the hell, where does this go? That her name is Colonel Ward. Now, her name could be Colonel Ward Bishop or Bishop Ward, I guess, either way. But two contradicting reports of what her name actually is. One comes from the official Star Wars GIFs. What do you call them? GIFs or GIFs, Chet? It's literally GIF, so it should be GIF. But, I mean, some people call them GIFs. I don't know. I call them GIFs. Sue me. Don't actually. Yeah. Christian Hoff, what's up? Says, Thrawn's definitely in the movie. I certainly hope so. But, so you have these two contradicting reports. One is Colonel Ward and one is Colonel Bishop. But the Colonel Ward one comes from GIFs. The GIFs. Is it GIFs or GIFs, chat? Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hard to make the argument that it's GIF when you literally have to spell it JIF, and that's not how it's spelt. I know this is a Star Wars stream, but we can argue about GIF and GIF. Yeah. Okay. But the official GIFs from Star Wars themselves have her name as Colonel Ward. And these leaks and reports have her name as Colonel Bishop. So, well, I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But we have two contradicting names. They go more into this. In the interview, she drops the tidbit that she was thrilled, but it was only a few days on set, surrounded by all sorts of creatures. So what do we think this means? Only a few days on set for Sigourney? Why? Is her role really small in this movie? Or did it only take a few days to film a ton of scenes? What do we think? Maybe she has a twin? What? Oh, you mean the X-Wing and then the Colonel? Oh, they're two different names? I don't think so. Can anyone else not see the chat? Yeah, John, sorry. Chat lost their privileges today. I don't know what happened. Yeah. So you think she's going to have a really small role? Really, really small role? Then why are they hyping her up like she's going to be this enormous role? She's in the trailer and one of the only confirmed characters in the movie. Or actors, I should say, in the movie. Here's what I think's happening. I think a lot of these leaks that are coming out about this movie, sure, they're right. I mean, we just talked about how the whole Rotta the Hutt stuff is confirmed. I mean, even by Jermey Allen White, he's going to have a pretty big role because he's come in to film, to voice lines multiple times. So that role is going to be pretty big, and those leaks are on track. But there's a big old Johnny's character, this guy, one of the only other confirmed actors to be in the movie. There's no confirmation of the Shadow Council being in there. No, nothing. So there is so much about this movie that is left up in the air. So much that we don't know. And that's classic Lucasfilm. I mean, they keep a secret and they keep it pretty damn good. Nobody saw Luke Skywalker coming in The Mandalorian Season 2. Nobody saw all this other stuff happening in Ahsoka Season 1 with the brand new galaxy. They can keep a secret. They can keep a secret real good. The only problem is it's very hard to figure out what this movie's going to be about if all the leaks are suggesting that the last 6 years of Disney Plus content are being thrown out the window, that they're not being utilized, that everything that we thought we saw is not real. Or not real, but not going to even affect this movie at all. Ron with the very generous $5 holla. I appreciate that, Ron. Says, plus she's in the trailer. Exactly. Sigourney Weaver is a big-time actress. I mean, pretty much everybody knows her name from whether it's Avatar, the biggest, highest-grossing film of all time, or Alien, or anything in between, I guess. I mean, talk about a career. She's now joining the Star Wars universe, so that's a big deal. She's in the trailer for the movie. Multiple scenes. And yet she's barely going to be in it? She only filmed for a few days? What is this Uno reverse switcheroo type thing they're pulling with us? Lucasfilm, what's going on? Just give us the movie. 7 months early. Please. I'd love to know. Everyone knows her name except for Mike. What do you mean? I'm the only one who says her name right. You're all wrong. Yeah. She's just an extra pilot. It'd be really weird if they just brought in Sigourney Weaver to just play an extra side character pilot. It'd be really weird. But all this to say, I think she's going to die. Now, hang on. Let's check the poll in the chat. 64%. 65% of you say no, you don't think she'll die in the movie. I think you're all wrong, you know? It's okay to be wrong, chat. You know, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. It's all right. Laura Dern joined Star Wars, so she was barely in it. We have to go off of when it comes to big names joining the franchise, they can have limited screen time. Yes, but that's not always the case. Sigourney only having a couple days on set, and she's one of maybe 5 people that we know is in the movie. From Pedro Pascal, Sigourney Weaver, Jermey Allen White, Johnny Cohen, whatever his name is. Is that it? And Grogu? Like, that's it. We know 5 people in this movie. It's the big blockbuster Star Wars return to the movie theaters in 7 months, and we only know 5 people that'll be in the movie. That's insane. That's insane. Daniel Craig is in Star Wars. That's true. He just plays a stormtrooper. Yeah, in the Force Awakens. Yeah, that's true. Okay. But let's finish off this article. So, this comes as no surprise, given that we've known since January of this year via Jeff Snyder's Hot Mic podcast that Weaver is only in the film for a few scenes. Okay. Furthermore, and why are they hyping her up this month? Furthermore, and while this isn't proven, it does lend credence to the information we've received photos of Sigourney Weaver behind the scenes at Star Wars Celebration and a scene of her and Grogu and Din Djarin in the trailer, which could corroborate the fact that she has a small role in this film, as Lucasfilm typically tries to limit the big narrative details they share. So pretty much what they're saying here is the information that we know about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is on purpose. There's a reason that we know so little about this movie. And there's a reason that they've given us the information that we know. Carrie Ann Moss, that's a good one too. I mean, Indara, she has a bigger role in the Acolyte than you think. Obviously, she dies in the first scene that she's in. Spoiler alert. But she comes back in the 2 flashback episodes. So she's in 3 of 8 episodes. That's a pretty big role. Yeah. So, Lucasfilm, being the geniuses that they are, keeping all the secrets that we know, they're really just giving us breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs to satisfy us for the time being before our minds are freaking blown by this movie. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know what's going on with the chat today. This is weird. But I continue. Certainly now that Weaver herself shared that she was only only on set for a few days, this appears to be confirmed. Budget-wise, I imagine that Disney accounting department was relieved by her lighter role. When asked about her role at Star Wars Celebration, she said this: "She's a fighter pilot. She came up in the rebellion, and now she's trying to protect the New Republic. And I believe it's completely." Oh, I forgot. Yeah, well, let me finish this. I believe is completely committed to what she does. Has had some good sense to hire Mandalorian and his sidekick Grogu, and I'm going to find out if they're as good as they say. I'm counting on it. So she's hiring Din and Grogu without really knowing much about them, just knowing that they're good at what they do, and they're gonna go on a pretty damn big mission for her. So she better trust them. But what she tells us is that she is a fighter pilot currently. She also says that she came up in the rebellion, which we know about. But this only reminds me that they brought her to Star Wars Celebration to announce the movie, or to sort of continue the announcement of the movie. They brought her to Star Wars Celebration with Pedro Pascal on stage to talk about the movie. And she's going to have a small role? She was only on set for a few days? This is crazy. Weaver goes on to reshare the story about Jon Favreau calling her up and asking if she wanted to join the cast and how thrilled she was to be a part of the Star Wars universe. Nothing is new there. For more news on the Mandalorian, we just did the Jermey Allen White stuff, and he confirms that he's playing Rotta the Hutt, but we knew that. So I ask you, chat. Actually, we'll finish this Star Wars segment for her too, but I ask you, will Sigourney Weaver die in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Yes or no?
To thunk it. Amazing.
Not I, yeah. It was a whole new world, so I feel very fortunate that I got to do that.
I mean, we've touched on only a small part of your career. I mean, there's obviously all the amazing non-quote-unquote genre work, too. What do people consistently bring up one or two things on the day-to-day, or is it, like, can you clock Alien versus Galaxy Quest fan coming from 10 yards away? Like, what is it like to be Sigourney Weaver out in the universe?
You know, it makes me realize how lucky I am. I feel like the fans don't go to everything, so that I have Gorillas in the Mist fans who are often coming up to me, especially now that we've just lost the amazing Jane Goodall. So there's a lot of concern about the Gorillas. Some people love The Year of Living Dangerously. I feel like they don't overlap. I do have small children coming up to me talking about Alien, which is worrying because they're very small. They're like 3 or 4, and I'm thinking, how do they cope?
Okay, this is obviously not Star Wars, but it says Star Wars for like the next minute, so we're gonna watch it anyway. Maybe she brings up Star Wars again.
With this, they're gonna be in therapy for years. So,
how did your child handle watching Alien, watching mom run away from a xenomorph? At what age?
Never mind, this is not Star Wars. Okay, so they transitioned to Alien. I guess it lied to us. Either way, clearly she's gonna have a very small role in this movie. In the advertising of Sigourney Weaver being in The Mandalorian and Grogu, being this big role, being in the trailer multiple times, bringing her to Star Wars Celebration is all just a front. It's all just lying to us. Well, not really lying to us, but, it's all making us believe that this is one thing when it's really the other. It's Lucasfilm going, look at these sparkly lights over here. Well, on the other side, they're doing this incredible, crazy story that we don't even know is happening. They're like, look, Sigourney Weaver. Oh my God, it's the girl from Alien. Oh my God. When they're secretly making, hopefully, this blockbuster, incredible action-packed movie of Din Djarin and Grogu continuing the story of the 6 years they've been doing on Disney Plus with the Mandoverse, bringing in Grand Admiral Thrawn as the heir to the Empire. Maybe he won't be in the movie, but still his presence will be felt. Talking about the remnant of the Empire and this whole bigger conspiracy that the New Republic is not listening to, and this crazy Star Wars story that's been set up, put on a tee like a golf ball, ready to be crushed 400 yards by Bryson DeChambeau as it's the freaking heir to the Empire. I got a little excited, okay? I'm sorry. Sorry, chat. You know? I'd like to apologize. I rose my voice. I've been hanging out with Saw Gerrera too much. The Rhydonium is getting to me. But I have good reason to lose my mind, okay? I have good reason. Because this is exciting. This is really exciting. Not only is Stinky the Hutt a big old role in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, but Sigourney is not. And that might sound like bad news, but it's great news. Because she's not going to be in the movie much. Which means all the stuff we see from the trailer, all the stuff that they've been feeding us about Sigourney Weaver and this greatness, it doesn't matter. It's not even that important to the movie. There's so much bigger and better things happening in this film that we don't know about yet. And that's awesome. And that's awesome. I missed the super chat. Hang on. Not a Fed. Still don't believe you. With the very generous $2 holla says jalapeno burger, Mike. What do I do with that information? He just sent me another super chat that says burger jalapenos. Is this some meme that I don't know? Like, am I too old for this? What?
I got a bad feeling about this.
What does that even mean? I'm just gonna moving on. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I appreciate the super chat. You know, super chats, memberships, even if they're the most insanely nonsensical thing, I appreciate. Oh, hang on. He sends another $2 haul that just says couch. I'm done. My work here has finished. One more try. That was pretty good. Except I just kicked one all the way across the room. Take this, chat. We've completely lost it today on this fine Thursday afternoon. We've lost our minds. Had to make sure we weren't watching AI. Well, I appreciate it, okay? Super chats, memberships, gifted memberships. Keep the lights on over here, you know? Yeah, remember, he's not a Fed. I think he's trying to crack me. I don't know what's going on. I'm not crazy. You're crazy. Where were we? Sigourney Weaver. So, not having a big role in this movie. Maybe she gets killed off. Maybe she doesn't get killed off. Either way, it's weird. The fact that Lucasfilm is hyping her up so much, it's making me think that they're trying to give us something to latch onto, but subverting our expectations. Showing us one thing, some shiny object over here, while they are robbing us blind over here. Okay, that was a horrible way to put it. A shiny object over here, while they are building us a great Christmas present over here. You know, like a great... They're not robbing us. They're giving us something good, not bad, okay? I take that back. So they're trying to distract us from what's really happening. And what's really happening is a continuation of Din and Grogu's story. Two of the fan-favorite characters that we know and love so much. So give me more Sigourney, because the more and more they hype her up, the more and more I go, yes. Whatever they're doing on the other side of the wall, because on this side of the wall, they're giving us Sigourney. Whatever's on the other side of that wall is greatness. It's the same way with, for example, The Mandalorian Season 1. They hyped up this Din Djarin character. They hyped up the fact that he's a bounty hunter. They're literally giving us this great action sequences from the show, giving us this greatness for Season 1, and nowhere in any of the marketing is Grogu. Actually, I want to rewatch. Let's do this for fun. Why not, chat? You want to have some fun today, chat? Should we have some fun today? Are we not entertained? Let's do this. Let's watch The Mandalorian Season 1 trailer. Let's watch the first trailer for The Mandalorian. Now, this is how I see The Mandalorian and Grogu. They're doing the exact same thing that they did with the success of the Disney Plus series by not showing us what's happening here. So watch this. And as you do, remember how great Season 1 was, but also remember how they're hiding everything in this trailer.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession. Don't you agree?
Damn. I haven't watched that trailer since the first season came out, probably. That's crazy. So, first of all, they show you scenes from the final episode. They show you Moff Gideon. That's crazy. They don't do that anymore. But that trailer is awesome. And it doesn't even show you the main character of the series, Grogu. That's insane. So if they can keep that well-kept secret, if they can keep that hidden away from everybody else, why can't they do the exact same with something maybe not as important as, you know, Grogu, but something very, very crazy that's subverting our expectations for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. So that trailer was awesome. Doesn't use the music from the movie, though. Like, it doesn't give you the you know? Okay. But I guess they were holding that for us, too. Yeah. So The Mandalorian and Grogu is, to me, very, very similar to what's happening with The Mandalorian itself on Disney Plus, what they're doing with Ahsoka Season 2, too, right now, by not telling us what's happening. They gave us Rory McCann. They literally told us that Hayden Christensen is back as Anakin in Season 2, which should be this groundbreaking news, but it's not, because Season 2 is going to be so much bigger than that. Mortis Gods, Abeloth, Thrawn. They even told us that Thrawn's going to be in a war in our Star Wars versus Admiral Akbar, because that's cool, but what they aren't telling us is way cooler. And that's the exact same thing I think is going on right now with The Mandalorian and Grogu. They're telling us so much about specific details. Rotta the Hutt, Sigourney Weaver, maybe Colonel Ward, or maybe Colonel Bishop. We don't know. And why does Colonel spelt that way? Because it doesn't even have a R in it or an N in it. Really a stupid. Either way, the English language is dumb. But they are showing us one thing because what they're hiding is far better. And that's got me pretty damn excited. Now, we got to talk about some other stuff today because we just talked about The Mandalorian and Grogu for a lot longer than I thought. But Star Wars Eclipse. Give me a 1 into the chat if you remember Star Wars Eclipse. Actually, coincidentally, not that long ago on this live stream, maybe last week, we watched the trailer for Star Wars Eclipse. But give me a 1 into the chat if you remember Star Wars Eclipse. The trailer for it dropped almost 5 years ago. In 2020, I guess. That would be 5 years ago. Let me double check that. Oh, no, 2021. Okay, so 4 years ago. 4 years ago, this trailer dropped, one of the coolest trailers for any Star Wars thing ever. And since then, in the last 4 years, we've gotten nothing from Star Wars Eclipse. That is until today. We finally got an update for this epic game that dropped and just went nowhere. So Quantic Dream, which is the studio that is creating the game, gave us this update. Let's take a look. So, here we go. Controversial Star Wars video game gets second life 4 years after its last major update. So let's zoom in a little bit there. Perfect. It's been 4 years since Star Wars Eclipse became one of the most controversial announcements in gaming. First revealed with a cinematic trailer at the Game Awards in 2021, the project claimed it would offer an ambitious, choice-given story set in the High Republic era. That sounds incredible. Every decision that you make in the game affects how you play it, the outcome of the game, all that stuff. But the excitement didn't last long. The developers behind it, Quantic Dream, quickly found itself at the center of a backlash over the past allegations of workplace toxicity, harassment, and discriminatory behavior. Easy for me to say. For a lot of fans, that announcement was a gut punch. Now, after years of silence, Quantic Dream has resurfaced with a surprising new statement that both reaffirms the game's existence and reveals a major shift for the studio. So not only do we have an update on this crazy game, play the trailer. All right, fine. We'll watch the trailer first before we even dive into this update. Let's watch the trailer. I already have it pulled up because I knew somebody was going to ask for it. Let's watch it. Oh, turn the volume up on that. Can I get some good cups full of orders in the chat, please, while we watch this trailer? Bumpa. we've gotten a lot of great trailers as Star Wars fans, you know? We just watched the Mandalorian Season 1 trailer. It was great. This might be one of the greatest trailers we've ever seen. And it's for a video game 4 years ago that never happened or hasn't happened yet. Now, we do have an update on it today, but still, from the music, the possibility of those characters being the Grisk, or at least the canon version, or I mean, the Grisk are canon, more of a live action version of the Grisk, the fact that it takes place in the New Republic, the concept art of the Acolyte corresponding to those army soldier looking people that we see in this trailer, like, it seems to me 4 years ago when they were coming out with all the New Republic stuff, the books and all that, and the Acolyte was in the works, like, the New Republic seemed to have a pretty big, there was like a shift to go to the New Republic, and it looked awesome. I mean, the New Republic books, I've only read Phase 1, but they're really, really good. The characters are all great. They're setting up a brand new villain that's not a Sith in there. They got brand new Jedi that are awesome. What could have been, or what could still be, because we got an update on this game today. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right. For over 28 years, Quantic Dream has been pushing the boundaries in interactive storytelling, founder David Cage said in the statement released today. With award-winning titles like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit Become Human, I have not heard of those except for Detroit Become Human, more than 25 million players worldwide have shared the journeys of Ethan Mars, Jody Holmes, Kara, Marcus, and Connor with us. According to Cage, the company has entered a new phase of growth and innovation. Since 2018, doubled the team's size, opening the studio in Montreal and becoming its own publishing. Most notably, he confirmed that multiple teams are now developing projects simultaneously, including a competitive multiplayer experience. That would be nice if that was in Star Wars. We need a new multiplayer game in Star Wars, like Battlefront 3, or I guess anything else. We need a multiplayer game for Star Wars. I love the Jedi games, don't get me wrong. Outlaws was fun. I need something that I can play with other Star Wars fans. Yeah. Which marks a major departure from the studio's traditional single-player, narrative-heavy games. This new title may surprise our fans, as it is very different from what we've done before, but taking risks, challenging ourselves, exploring new ways of playing and telling stories, and attempting what seems impossible has always been a part of our DNA. That's not all. David Cage went on to confirm that Star Wars Eclipse is still very much in production, as he says this. Of course, development on Star Wars Eclipse continues, and we are eager to share more with you in the future, he says, calling this the beginning of a new chapter at Quantic Dream. So let me put up a poll in the chat before we continue. Let me put up a poll. Are you buying any of this? Let me put up a poll. By the way, 62% of you say no. Sigourney will not die in the Mandalorian. Do you think we will ever get Star Wars Eclipse? Eclipse. There we go. Yes or no? As much as I would love to say yes, as much as I really, really want this game, I love the High Republic as a concept, at least, and I love the Acolyte. If that is the Grisk and what that could mean for not only Thrawn and the Heir to the Empire, but just for storytelling in general in the Star Wars canon, it would be incredible. And we need more games like this. A Star Wars game where every decision that you make changes the outcome of the game, meaning every person who plays the game has a different story. That sounds incredible. So we need something like that in Star Wars. However, it's been 4 years. We got this incredible trailer, and it's been 4 years, and this is the first announcement that we get. Now, it is a good announcement. He does say that it is still in development, which sounds great. So I certainly hope the answer to that question is yes, we will eventually get this game. But he doesn't give the announcement like, oh, yeah, and you'll get a trailer in a couple weeks. Or, yeah, we're almost done. Or, yeah, a couple years. He just says it's going good. He actually says specifically, development on Star Wars Eclipse continues, and we are eager to share more with you in the future. That's all he says. which is crazy. Oh my God, Jordan Rennie in the house with a $20 holla. My God, that's extremely generous. I appreciate that. Said, too much time has gone by now for it to happen, in my opinion. I don't know. I would agree with you if it was like a Star Wars movie or show, but a video game, first of all, these take a long time for them to develop and create. So that's one thing. 4 years after having a great trailer like that, I don't know, maybe not. But it's not like it's dead forever. Even, for example, the KOTOR remake, we haven't gotten an update on that in like probably 4 years. Or we got a couple updates, but nothing really crazy. I still think that that could happen eventually. Maybe not in the next couple of years, but maybe the next 5, 10. I think Eclipse could come out, if it is actually still in active development, it could come out at any point in the next couple of years. Because we were supposed to be getting a major Star Wars video game every single year for the foreseeable future. And 2023 gave us Jedi Survivor. 2024 gave us Outlaws. 2025. Did we get a Star Wars video game this year? We got the resurgence of Battlefront 2, but that wasn't an actual game. Maybe the Fortnite collab, the whole Star Wars Fortnite season maybe was supposed to be it. I don't know. Was there a Star Wars game this year? I don't think so. So maybe next year's is something else. And then Jedi Survivor sequel is the next year. And then maybe Eclipse is 2028. I don't know. Oh my God, Jordan Riley with another $10 holla. Jordan, you are insane. I appreciate it quite a bit. Says, it's similar to the Lando film in my opinion. Nothing has happened since its initial announcement. You bring up the Lando. If you brought up like Rangers of the New Republic, I'd be like, yes. But Lando, I think, is still happening. Like, I think Lando eventually will happen with Donald Glover. It's just a matter of when. You know? I don't think they wanted Lando to be the first Star Wars movie back in theaters, so they've sort of pushed it beyond that. Yeah. I don't know. According to some guy who dances with a sword, claims games are childish. According to some guy who dances with a sword, games are childish. I don't know what that means. Oh, Zero Company. That comes out next year, doesn't it? I think Zero Company comes out next year. Oh, the VR game. Oh, yeah, you're right. So, yeah, Beyond Victory we got this year. So, 2023 was Survivor. 2024 was Outlaws. 2025 is Beyond Victory. 2026 is Zero Company. I think 2027 will be the sequel to Jedi Survivor, the third installment of the Jedi games. And then 2028 could be this Eclipse game. Could be. All right, but let's keep reading to see what they have to say about it. So they even have the trailer here. Why is Eclipse controversial? For fans, that last part may land differently depending on which side of the conversation you were on back in 2021. When Eclipse was first announced, it was supposed to be this new kind of Star Wars game, a sprawling cinematic adventure set during the golden age of the Republic, a few centuries before the Skywalker saga. But the involvement of Quantic Dream and David Cage himself overshadowed everything else. This is pretty interesting because I didn't know this. I saw Coup trailer and I was just like, great. Because 4 years ago, the channel existed, but it wasn't really like I was doing a lot of, investigative work on this stuff. So I didn't really know this. I didn't know Quantic Dream was in a lot of hot water. But at the time, multiple French publications had reported allegations of a toxic and discriminatory workplace culture at the studio, sparking a outcry among Star Wars fans, especially within the LGBTQ plus community. Some fans even launched a campaign under the hashtag Blackout Star Wars Eclipse, urging Lucasfilm to reconsider its partnership with the development. I didn't know any of this, so this makes perfect sense as to why we never got this game, or haven't gotten this game yet. Somehow, 4 years ago, I was so blind to this. I guess I was not in the know. This was before the channel really got started, actually making content at full time. Okay. So that I didn't know any of this. This makes a lot more sense as to why we didn't get this game. I just saw a cool, shiny trailer. Sign me up. I didn't see any of this other backlashy stuff. It's unclear how much of the backlash has factored into Eclipse's long road in development. Well, if there's a trending hashtag about it, I'm sure that it did do that. This is like the calm before the storm. This is like the first cancellation of a Star Wars project before the Acolyte gets canceled. All right, so it's unclear how much the backlash developed. David Cage's statement made no mention of the controversy. Why would he? It's been 4 years, and I'm sure they're trying to stay away from that. Instead, framing the studio's evolution as one rooted in creativity and reinvention. Sorry. But after 4 years of silence, it's notable that Eclipse hasn't been canceled. So for those of you holding out hope, for those of you that still want to play this game, like myself, it's not canceled. That's for sure. Like, even though I'm still holding out hope for the Acolyte Season 2, the Acolyte Season 2 has been specifically canceled. This is not. In fact, Quantic Dream seems to be thriving, even opening up that new branch in Montreal, as it said earlier. Having been acquired by Chinese gaming giant NetEase in 2022. Is NetEase the people who make Marvel Rivals? Why does that name sound so familiar? Chat, do we know? NetEase. It is. Oh my God, I'm a genius. Or maybe I just play too much Marvel Rivals. It is the company that makes Marvel Rivals. Okay. That's interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Oh my God, Jordan Rennie again? You are insanely too generous. All right, hang on. Jordan Rennie with another $10 haul says, I always wanted a proper open world Star Wars game where you could choose whether you want to be a smuggler, bounty hunter, Jedi, Sith, etc., and having missions which correspond similar to GTA. Oh my God. GTA and Star Wars, I mean, who's going to say no to that? But it is a very hard thing to accomplish. Making a one city that looks like Los Angeles and being able to do that, it's possible. Having an entire galaxy where you can travel to different planets, each planet is open world, you can decide what you want to do and it all be different. That's an enormous game. Yes, it is Star Wars Old Republic, but that's still different. It's not open world. It's not you get to choose what you want to do. Knights of the Old Republic is very different. Yes, what you do affects the outcome of the game, and that's different. And you get to customize your character to an extent. But it's not what Jordan is really saying. Yeah. It's not an open world, explore the entire galaxy, choose GTA, go on. GTA is like, you can sit there and do nothing, or you can become the richest person in the galaxy, or you could become a Jedi or a Sith and make your own Jedi Order or a Sith Order. Like, the problem is it took 15 years or 13 years to make GTA 6. In order for them to make a Star Wars version of that, it would take a millennia. Yeah. Yes, the Old Republic is open world and you can travel to dozens of planets freely, but it's not like you can travel through the entire planet. There's borders to the planet, and it gives you the feeling that it's open world, but it's not. Like, it's not as open world as Outlaws was. And Outlaws is still very restrictive as well. Yeah. Okay. Continuing. As Cage puts it in his closing words, earning the trust of players, standing out in such a competitive space, in introducing fresh concepts is incredibly challenging, since we have no legacy in this genre. So we know that we have everything to prove. So not having any sort of presence in the Star Wars universe, it's going to be pretty hard to get the fans on your side. But that trailer that they dropped 4 years ago, they got a lot of fans on their side. Now, I didn't know about this whole controversy backlash thing, but still, they got a lot of fans on their side with just dropping an incredible trailer. So, hopefully, and tell me in the chat, this game gets made. But Tell me in the chat, do you want Star Wars Eclipse? Yes or no? Do you want it? Not do you think it'll happen? Not do you hope it gets canceled? Do you want the game? Yes or no? Whether it be next year, the year after, the year after, or the year after that. Do you want it? What do we think? No way. I want an animated show using that engine. That'd be kind of cool. If it comes out, then yes. Eclipse, yes. I'm out. I'm not a gamer. Well, that's also a possibility. I mean, a lot of people don't like video games in general. So, yeah. All right. Interesting. Whoa, this poll. Holy, what the? This poll is 51 to 49 right now. I'm going to leave it up there for a little bit. I'm going to leave it up there. Okay. Let's move on a little bit here to what I'm sure many of you are questioning, which is the title of this live stream. Yoda was blue. Yoda was blue. Droopy's not letting me gamble 5 million credits. I don't know if Droopy has a limit. I have no idea. But the fact that you even have 5 million credits is insane. Okay. Let's talk about Yoda. Blue Yoda originally was. Archival Star Wars sources reveal. So, you must unlearn what you have learned. Jedi Master Yoda instructs his stubborn apprentice Luke Skywalker, and now Star Wars fans may have to do the same. After confirmation that the beloved fictional alien was very nearly blue or even purple. Now, it's hard to imagine because Grogu, of course, is Yoda is, of course, iconically green, and now Yaddle is green and Grogu is green. But imagine if he was blue or even purple. Like, that would be weird as hell. So let's keep reading. Reviews of the archival sources, a new testimonial from the special effects makeup artist who worked on the first Yoda puppet, suggests filmmakers made a decision late in the development process to switch the character's skin color to green. Had producers on The Empire Strikes Back closely followed the final screenplay, then Yoda would have been blue-ish. So sort of that. I mean, there he looks purple. That's Yoda back there behind Luke. That's purple. But in the text's sacred text, Luke and his droid companion R2-D2 are surprised after being confronted by the small creature who appears in the swamp-covered planet of Dagobah. Mysteriously standing right in front of Luke is a strange bluish creature. This is the original description of Yoda. Not more than 2 feet tall. The wizened little thing is dressed in rags, reads the screenplay. So this is the original screenplay for the scene. Bluish creature, not more than 2 feet tall. And that's, of course, what Yoda actually looks like, green. Derived from George Lucas's original story, the screenplay from the second film is in the original Star Wars trilogy was written by Lane Brackett and Lawrence Kasdan. When final movies always differ slightly from the screenplay, most other elements from the texts were kept in the feature film, raising questions as to why this little detail was changed. Yoda's eventual color change is not unknown amongst fans. Early concept art sketches of around 1978, 1 year after the first Star Wars movie came out, show Yoda in different hues, sometimes colorless, and other times light blue or even pink. However, 2 other prints in 1980, the same year as the film was released, continue to describe and portray him as blue or purple Yoda, indicating a late-stage switch. As you can see here, very, very purple in that one. Very, very purple. The first document and novelization released of the movie as the movie, was out in cinemas, describes him as blue-skinned. So even the first document and novelization released when the movie was in cinemas has him blue-skinned. One version of the book was even published in July of 1980, 2 months after the film was released, and Grogu was green in it. He was still blue. That's weird. A second and more visual example of the non-green Yoda comes from a comic book version of The Empire Strikes Back. Several scenes portray him as purple, and also much smaller and elf-like than the creature in the film, with long white hair. The book, a collected version of Marvel Comics adaptations of the film, depict most scenes as they were on screen. So the suggested decision to change Yoda's color was made after most other characters were set decisions were agreed. So again, a very, very late change. It is not clear as to why Yoda was changed to green. Attempts to seek comments from Lucasfilm and the parent company Walt Disney went unanswered. So we still don't know. That's weird. Imagine Yoda was not green. What do we think? Would that have been a bad thing? Would you prefer Yoda to be blue or purple? It's actually funny, Mike, you are as cool as ECLIPSE. That might be the greatest compliment I've ever received. That might just be the greatest compliment I've ever received in my life. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jordan Rennie with another $5 holla. Holy crap. Says, if you were to change, wait, what? Oh, if you were in charge. Okay, my fault. But you couldn't choose green. What color would you have made Yoda? Well, not blue. Blue sounds weird. The purple I kind of like. It's like a sort of a, I don't like it more than the green, but I like it more than blue. Here, like this doesn't look horrible. It's sort of a subtle purple. It's not like bright purple. It's subtle. But I actually have a original Star Wars comic here. Let me go get it. Okay. So I'm not going to take it out of its package because it's really nice. This is a Star Wars. It's the last issue of the original run of the Star Wars comics. Yoda is not on the cover, sadly. Lando is. You got Lando, Han, Chewie, Leia, Luke, R2, but you can tell in the comics, these characters look so different than their on-screen appearances. Lando's hair is blue. Lando's hair is blue. Luke looks like ripped out of his mind. He's been hitting the gym. And you have just certain characters, too, even in these comic books that don't really exist. Like Jackson, for example. He appears in Rebuild the Galaxy Season 2. But he's from the comics that doesn't really even appear in canon at all. So, I guess the comics at the time were not very canon. And they were just throwing stuff around. Because, yeah, Lando's hair being blue here is the perfect example of why it kind of makes sense for Yoda to not be the same color. Did Sam get this for me? No, actually, my dad did. Very, very cool. Yeah. It's the 25th anniversary of Marvel Comics in this run. 75 cents. That's how much this comic was. 75 cents. You know how much a comic is now? $3.99. It's crazy. Crazy. Okay. Sorry. Got distracted. But that's very, very strange. Yoda was blue and purple. So weird. Very, very strange. Okay. I do have one more thing I want to get to, though, before we get on out of here. And it goes back to actually what Star Wars surprised us with at the beginning of this live stream. Cal Kestis. Oh, interesting. We got a little bit more Mandalorian and Grogu news here. Look at this. Katie O'Brien. She played, what's her character's name? What's her character's name in The Mandalorian Season 3? She worked for Moff Gideon, was a spy inside of the New Republic. Do you remember her name? Somebody help me on the chat. She says she will not be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. She says, I don't know if they will be doing a season 4. I know the movie's coming out, and I know I'm not in it. Well, I mean, as much Elia Kane, thank you. As much as actors lie a lot, I don't know if she is here. I don't see where they would fit her into that story at all. I don't know. Yeah. I have a prediction that your dad got you into Star Wars. Am I right? I mean, I guess, yeah. My parents both did, I guess. Just giving me Star Wars as a little child. Blame them. Blame them, not me. That picture of Cal looks like Alderaan to me. Oh, no. Okay, let's talk about Cal Kestis then. So this is the tweet from Star Wars at the beginning of this live stream that they posted of this concept art of Fallen Order. And what's funny about this is this comes right after a day after this news dropped. Jedi Survivor planets Tanalorr and Kobo Abyss. Elia Kane is now blue. Oh no. Have both been removed from the Star Wars galaxy map. And it comes in the same sort of news that Mina Rao in the Sinar testing facility 73 are both added to the Star Wars galaxy map, meaning 2 Andor Season 2 planets have been added to the map while these 2 have been taken away. Now, I did some research. In those 2 Jedi Survivor maps, obviously Tanalorr being the hidden planet and Kobo Abyss being the planet right outside that nebula, those 2 planets being right next to each other, they're not gone from the map, so to speak. They're more so just condensed. And it's weird that they're condensed, but they are condensed nonetheless. So they're over here, right here. So you see where it says Kobo? Right there. This is the Kobo system. So in that system is both Tanalorr and Kobo Abyss, but they're not on the map. Now, I don't know why they did this. I have no idea. When you look around, you have other places. For example, where is Endor on this? I don't know. I don't know where Endor is, but it's the Endor system because Endor in Return of the Jedi is the forest moon of Endor. Huh. I don't know. But it's weird because some planets are specifically titled, like At Aten, for example, and then you just have the system of Kobo when they took away Tanalorr and Kobo Abyss. It's a little strange that you're taking away a hidden planet from the Jedi Survivor game. Maybe they're hiding it on purpose. Possibly. Is Camino on this? Does anybody know if Camino's on this list? Let's actually look it up. Let's look it up. Is Camino here? Lost the planet, Master Kenobi has. How embarrassing. Oh my God. Jordan with a $5 holla. I knew you were going to say that. I didn't even read that. You guys might not believe me because, why would you? No, I'm kidding. But I said that before I even read his super chat. And I even said it wrong. Lost the planet, Obi-Wan has. How embarrassing. That's awesome. Same wavelength. Great minds think alike. All right, let's see if we can find Camino here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Oh, we're in M already? Hang on. Okay. Camino, let's see. Camino. Camino is not here. Wait, what? Am I missing something? KM. Camino. Camino's not here. And Camino's a missing planet. So maybe they took away Tanalorr because it's also a missing planet. Interesting. The more you know. The more you know. there you go. Okay. But there was that. So just wanted to get that out there. By the way, this poll is still crazy. 52% of you guys say, it moved up to 54. Never mind. 54% of you guys say you think we will get Star Wars Eclipse, and 46 say you don't. Okay. Where are you in the Bad Batch? We finished episode 1. That's it. We are 1 episode in. Sam actually had to go away, so she's gone for the weekend, which is going to set us back a little bit, but we'll have to binge some episodes as we go along there. Yeah. So there you have it. There you have it. So, pretty crazy day for Star Wars news. The confirmation of a bunch of leaks for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie with Rotta the Hutt, Jermey Allen White, and Sigourney Weaver having a very small role in this movie, but Rotta having a bigger role, and what that means. And them, of course, subverting our expectations, looking at this very shiny Sigourney Weaver, Jermey Allen White, all the greatness over here. While on the other side, they're wrapping us a big old Christmas present that's going to be like, hey, guess what? You missed this. And it was right in front of your stupid faces. But I can't wait till that comes to fruition. Someone erased it from the archive memory. Exactly. Even a child could figure that out. I appreciate all the super chats. Jordan Rennie, Darth Plagueis Lives, Ron, Not a Fed, even though they're very confusing super chats to me. They're still appreciated. I appreciate it quite a bit. And yeah, if you want to keep the conversation going, there's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go join that immediately. And yeah. Yeah. Watch out for a short in about, I don't know, an hour, or give or take. Oh, and go watch the video that we dropped yesterday. So I'm going to do a thing now where when news comes out, and it's big news, of course, we're going to make full videos on them again because I've been slacking. But we're going to have, Matt's late. We got to figure it out. We got to restart. Matt's late. What did he miss? Okay, we'll restart the stream. We'll go for another hour and 48 minutes. But before we do, I'm going to be doing, if there's big news, like there was for Ahsoka Season 2, I'm going to make full-on videos for it the next day. So I'm thinking we'll do a Mandalorian and Grogu video tomorrow morning, or / afternoon. So watch out for that too. So I'm thinking like maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday have regular sort of 10-minute videos, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, as per usual, the hour-plus long live streams that we do. Because I know not everybody has the time to watch 2-hour live streams. I know some of you have told me you like to watch it on the car ride home or whatever it may be, and I appreciate that quite a bit. And I think the live streams are where it's at. I think we have the most fun here. We lose our minds the most, but to condense all the news to sort of a 10-minute video, it's good, it's the best. So if you haven't watched the Ahsoka Season 2 news, the latest and greatest for Ahsoka Season 2, that came out yesterday. Go watch that video on the channel. It's only about 8.5 minutes, so go check it out and drop a comment, drop a like, all that stuff. And smash a freaking like on this stream, too, if you have not already. So, there you have it. Yeah. Okay, there you have it. So, with that being said, good night, everybody, and couch. I still don't understand, but yes. So, with that being said, smash a freaking like on this stream if you have not already. A weekly Wednesday news update is great. Well, I'm going to do multiple weekly updates. It's not just going to be a weekly update. It's just going to be an update on whatever, That's why I'm here. Smash a freaking like in this stream if you have not already. But with that being said, how many likes do we have, chat? That's not enough likes. That is not enough likes, chat. Smash a freaking like on your way out if you have not already. And yeah, may the force be with you. Always. Oh yeah, what a great stream. What a great show. You guys, the absolute best. This was quite the live stream. We lost our minds. We talked Mandalorian and Grogu. We even talked about Yoda being blue. Doesn't get much better than that. Doesn't get much better than that. But until next time, of course, watch out for a video tomorrow and a live stream on Saturday and a short tonight. Content just keeps churning out. But until next time, we're going to be trying to do something pretty big on Saturday, so hopefully the stream doesn't crap like we did last time we tried to do something big. I'm going to try and figure out how to do it the right way, and we'll go from there. But we're going to try and do something big on Saturday, so watch out for that, and I hope you guys will be patient with me. I really apologize for what happened with the chat today. That was really frustrating. I'm going to try and figure out something to sort of, fix that. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, but, if it does. So I apologize, chat. Extremely frustrating. We'll figure it out. But until next time, hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.